Good evening, cult members, and welcome to PopCultureCult. I'm Sean.
And I'm Josh.
And this is the Rebel Files trailer reaction. I don't think we've done one of these
No, we
together.
haven't. This is actually the first time we've ever actually done
a trailer reaction. We're going to be completely honest with everybody. We've watched the 13-minute super uber gameplay trailer for Jedi Fallen Order. It's pretty awesome. But we wanted to do a trailer reaction for the story one that they released right after this.
I actually don't think I've seen this one, so I might actually be a little fresh on this.
I'm super excited about this game. I have not been able to stop talking about it since I watched the trailer on whatever it was last week.
I had to stop talking about it. I keep going on and on about it. My wife looks at me like...
I tried to pre-order it the other day, but we're going to Vegas. So here is our trailer reaction to Jedi Fallen Order, and go. Appropriate for some children. Hi. I still want one of those.
Much friendlier version of the one from Inferno Squad.
Yes.
Ready to do this?
Hi, guys.
What's up, Saw?
Hey! Who are you?
Good guy?
Cal Kestis.
Sogarera.
I'm here on Jedi business.
Jedi are dead.
Not all of them.
Here. Flashbacks. So many good flashbacks.
A Jedi.
That's cool. Ah, no bugs. Bugs. Yeah.
We have to stop them.
Are they going to use Alex Phoenix voice?
Back
Okay,
at
good.
Jedi are not yet lost.
That was a cool Jedi power.
Is not yet.
Did he just use the droids as a zip line?
I think so.
All right, that's cool.
He's kind of a badass.
Yeah, I'm okay. You all right? No, we are not doing that again.
Still only counts as one.
So only counts as one.
So that's just a story one. Now the gameplay trailer had actual, like, they showed some gameplay stuff in this one.
They did.
But I'm super impressed.
It's pretty.
It is pretty.
It is super pretty.
They did the right thing and spent their time on this. They've been working on this since before Battlefront 2. So they've got something, I think, here.
Yeah, and realistically with it, I mean, I'm stoked to find out. I mean, I think the casting's solid. It's very, very much like what we got with Force Unleashed, at least in terms of gameplay.
Right.
Only hyper polished.
Right.
You know, we got our good classic lightsaber throws. We got lightsaber combat. What I believe, if I remember the Celebration conversation on it, they termed it thoughtful combat, where you actually have to exploit their weakness and then go in for the kill.
Right.
Especially
against that. Fifth sister, fifth brother, or whatever. Whatever that's gonna be.
Inquisitor.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, especially in that kind of mode, having to adapt to that particular character's fighting style, and it adapts to you. And
right. They said that the waves were meant to actually fatigue your character. So the stormtroopers, while they might be one-shot kills, are meant to actually fatigue you down. So by the time you get to the Purge troopers or the second sister, it's like you're whacked.
Yeah.
You're tired.
Yeah.
So you have to adapt to that in your combat strategy. So
yeah. I like. I was talking about this with the Avengers game that came out, and then with the Watch Dogs that also came out. This has much more of the Watch Dogs feel than the Avengers game. The Avengers game has got a little bit more. The physical look of it is very much like realistic, cartoony to it. This has a much more realistic kind of feel to it, much like Watch Dogs, much like Death Stranding, much like Rainbow Six, and like that. So they mocapped a lot of this, and the I mean, the waves are really hard to do, but like the trees are flopping around. The moss on the AT-ATs was flopping around. That's really hard to do. And
it is, you know, a lot of animation. And I mean, from my end of it, and I guess we can get into that too, is the look and the feel of the game, just hands down, bar none. It's like taking the best parts of Battlefront, you know, with the first person, and then expanding on it greatly. The sound, they brought in the same sound guy who did the entire, I think, schema for Star Wars. So all the sounds are on par, even B2, the droid. His schema was brand new and meant specifically for it. I gotta talk about the actors. In this. Cameron Monaghan, the Joker. From Gotham. There's some, so it's weird for me to watch the trailer because there's some eerie similarities to another video game Star Wars character from the EU by the name of Kyle Katarn. His outfit looks very similar to Kyle. He's a ginger like Kyle is. It's almost like a young version of Kyle Katarn, which is a little freaky. That being said, for me, that gives it a little bit of that nod back to the EU.
Which they've been doing a lot of lately.
Because they did that with Shadows of the Empire. Which, you know, is another game they're going to be releasing at some point. But they did Shadows of the Empire. So I get a little bit of that feel, a little bit of Force Unleashed with a potential story that's going to, you know, bookend right in really nicely with Rogue One and Rebels. Which is, and here's my thing, and this is what I was going to ask. Do you think that we will see any Rogue One or Rebels? We'll see Saw Gerrera.
We'll see Saw Gerrera,
But you think we're going to see any Rebels characters bookended?
Might see Cassian. You might see Cassian, because now I'm thinking, like, you could bring this character into the Cassian Andor series for one episode. So, yeah, you could, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a K2 unit.
So a K2 unit, they did say that there will be K2 units in it. I don't know if any will specifically be K2SO. But we will see K2 units.
But then but if you have K2 in it, you have Saw, it makes sense to have Cassian. You probably won't have Jyn herself, but you might hear you might hear reference to Galen Erso. You might hear references to Krennic, to Orson Krennic. So you might have those references from those characters, but maybe not necessarily see them.
Well, yeah, and I think the takeaway is we know it's definitely way after Clone Wars, obviously, because of Saw being bald. But so it's before Rogue One, because he hasn't let his hair grow out. So he's got a couple of years of hair growth, I think, in Rogue One. So we'll probably, like, Jyn, I think at this point would probably be either preteen, maybe younger. In when this takes place.
Which could be in the Saw, I mean, she's like 5 when Rogue One, that opening scene in Rogue One, and then she's in her 20s later on. So there could be in that gap in there somewhere.
And it could be, absolutely.
Where Saw is actually training her to be essentially, like, she's a hacker in that time period, and so she's helping do all these terrorist events and stuff like that. So that's what one of the books is actually about, is her doing all that stuff. So if you fit it in that time period, you could have Jyn, a younger Jyn Erso in as a reference. I just don't think that they're going to have too many of the main Rogue One characters in there. I want them to.
It'd be cool. I mean, I think realistically, if anything, we'd see more Rebels characters. Like, you know, there's Rogue Jedi, and they allude to that, so we might see an allusion to, you know, Galen or
Kanan.
Kanan, sorry.
Yeah.
Galen. I was on the Unleashed things with Galen Merrick. So you might see references to that. You might see a reference to maybe not so much Sabine, but
it'd be really cool if, like, they're at some port somewhere,
you know, the ghost.
And the ghost takes off in the background, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So
or Chopper goes rolling by, or something like that.
Give those little nods into the universe to the larger connectivity. And I think they've left plenty of room for that. I think realistically, to your point, I think Cassian's actually probably a logical one to see, because we know this is going to be a canon storyline, because they've already established the second sister in the comics, which is canon. So we know it's going to be a canon storyline. We know that it's going to take place in that time period. So I think seeing things like Cassian, which would be a good precursor to the upcoming Cassian Andor series, if they're doing it right. And we might see little nods. We might see a few Mandalorian nods, but they've taken a lot of the elements, I want to say, from the 1313.
Right.
If you look at some of the sequences, and they've taken those elements,
that's
and
that's what they made multiple references to that at Celebration. So that makes complete sense.
So it's fantastic to see it. I'm stoked. I mean, that's literally going to be my Christmas season. Is going to be.
Yep.
You know,
yep, that's where I'm at right now too. So
it's happening.
That's our thoughts on the story trailer for Jedi Fallen Order. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. leave us a comment about, are you excited about this game? Do you think it has direct connection to 1313? And what characters from Rebels or Rogue One or both do you think we're actually going to see outside of Saw Gerrera? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to this channel. Help us out on Patreon. We're working towards a Star Wars goal there. And follow us on all our social media stuff. All the stuff is in the description down below. And until next time, good evening, cult members.